Hello friends, if you're new to my channel, I'd like to welcome you. Why don't you go down and hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any episodes. For my fans and subscribers, welcome back. Today's topic is Yahweh and Lucifer, sometimes referred to as son of the dawn, sometimes as son of the morning. So I will say in this video, it will seem like I'm going down a lot of rabbit holes, but actually I'm not. This is all information that you need to know in order to get the gist of what the Remythologization of Lucifer is. The idea of Satan as a fallen angel named Lucifer comes from Isaiah 14:12-15, an understanding that is presupposed in Luke 10:18 and found later in the writings of church fathers such as Origen and Eusebius. The fact of the matter is that this interpretation is a remythologization. The author of the passage of Isaiah simply reused an ancient myth to illustrate the hubris of the king of Babylon, and this historical context was ignored by later Christians. The view that is most likely is that the shining one, son of the dawn, refers to Venus because it rises before dawn and eventually the sun outshines it. This view finds support in ancient versions of the text. The Targum, which is an ancient Aramaic translation of the Hebrew scriptures, translates this phrase as, "Who was resplendent among the sons of men as the bright star Venus among the stars." I should also point out that Christians who assume this passage refers to Satan do not read the very next two verses, Isaiah 14:16-17, which state, "Those who see you stare at you, they ponder your fate. Is that the man who shook the earth and made the kingdoms tremble? The man who made the world a wilderness, who overthrew its cities and would not let his captives go home." End quote. Since when is Satan anywhere in the Bible referred to as a man, especially in the New Testament? Based on many words and phrases, scholars generally accept that the original myth was Canaanite, especially in light of the Ugaritic parallels. For instance, Mount Zaphon, referred to in Isaiah 14:13, is known from the Ugaritic texts as Baal's mountain. Another reference to Baal can be found in Isaiah 14:14, part A. "I shall ascend above the heights of the clouds." One of Baal's names was Rider of the Clouds. Verse 14 also calls the God Most High, or Elyon, who Philos of Byblos and the Old Testament attest that he is the Jebusite God of Jerusalem. Genesis 14:18-20 and 22. Interestingly, Elyon is also equated with Yahweh, plus he appears as an Aramean deity in the Sapphire Treaty. It is important to remember that El is the father of the Canaanite pantheon. No myth is known where another god tries to usurp El's throne, but Baal has conflicts with many gods. This then suggests that we should look for the origin of this myth around the mythology of Baal. Because the rise and disappearance of Venus, the morning star, can be interpreted in terms of Canaanite myth, is it possible to identify Venus with a figure in Canaanite mythology? The god Aptar probably filled this role, though it isn't explicit. How do we come to this conclusion? South Arabia definitely identifies Aptar with Venus, but we need more. In the Ugaritic texts, as part of the Baal cycle, we have a Canaanite myth that tells of a failed attempt on Aptar's part to occupy Baal's throne on Mount Zaphon. This is most commonly thought by scholars to be the prototype of the myth contained in Isaiah 14:12 through 15. However, there are differences, and these are too great for us simply to equate the two myths. So, what are the differences? While the Shining One wants the throne because of arrogance and pride, Aptar has been appointed by El and Asherah. The Shining One is cast down, but Aptar realizes and accepts that he is unable to fill the throne and descends to earth of his own will. Isaiah presents the Shining One as stripped of all his power after his demise, whereas Aptar ruled on earth. However, myths have variations on the theme of inability to ascend the throne, so there is most likely a connection between the two. John Day suggests that the myth contained in Isaiah 14:12 through 15 was borrowed from the Jebusites. For support, he points to several factors that, taken together, make a plausible case. Isaiah 14:14 uses the name Elyon for God, which according to Genesis 14:19 and 22 was the Jebusite god of Jerusalem. Also, the very name of the city of Jerusalem points to this. The origins of this name denotes foundation of Shalem, the god of the dusk. In Ugaritic mythology, Shahar, the dawn, and Shalem, the dusk, are brothers, twin sons of El. If Shalem is prominent in Jebusite mythology, it stands to reason that his brother is also. So just to recap, up until this point, I've talked about how the author of Isaiah most likely repurposed a Canaanite myth, the likely prototype Isaiah used, the gods involved and their interplay, and difference. Let's turn our attention to the historical context of Isaiah 14. This oracle is delivered against a Babylonian king in its present form. Since the prophecy expects the Medes to destroy Babylon, Isaiah 13:17 to 22, it would be between 609 to 550 BCE. The king mentioned is almost assuredly Nebuchadnezzar. We can zero in at about 586 to 562 BCE, during which time Nebuchadnezzar was the most important king in the Near East. Jeremiah 50 to 51 is closely related to Isaiah 13 and 14 and alludes directly to Nebuchadnezzar. It should also be noted that Nebuchadnezzar has been referred to 2 different times in the Old Testament as cutting down the cedars of Lebanon. The first in Isaiah 14:8, and the second in Habakkuk 2:17. Well, friends, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, press the subscribe button, and if you want to know when I come out with new content, hit the bell next to the subscribe button. My Twitter, Discord, email, and PayPal links are in the description, along with the source that I used for this episode. If you wish to get in contact with me, Twitter is the best way, followed by email. Also, if you would, please leave comments in the comment section. Not only do I love hearing from you, but it also triggers the YouTube algorithm. If you have any requests, you may leave those down there as well. Keep learning and searching for truth. Here are a few videos from my library. If you have not watched them yet, go ahead and watch them and tell me what you think. Until next time, friends, stay safe and goodbye.